What's going on, everyone? Before we begin, if you plan on shopping TCGPlayer, right down here in the video description, you can see right here is a link. You can click this to shop TCGPlayer and support the channel. I will earn a percentage from any purchase you make. So if you're planning on purchasing anything mentioned in this video, you could use that link to support the channel with purchases you'd already be making. I'd greatly appreciate it. And let's go ahead and dive in. The One Piece top is in, or is it? Well, so the market, we did have just like a huge increase in prices, but things have really started to settle down, whether that's post-nationals, once a ton of cards change hands, which does happen, and of course with the pickup of in-person events, less people are holding on to these cards. They've started moving them, and people picked up and started selling them. So that is one of the catalysts, I believe, behind it. But then also the rumors of the ban list. So it's been confirmed. Now, this does not mean that we will get it in the English card game. It just means that Japan has announced a revision to theirs. And whether that passes on to here, we'll have to wait and see. But I think that has also impacted some of these. So one of the cards we're going to look at is Katakuri. If you're still looking to play Enel, he still is decent. But the question is, come after OP06, is he still good? Do you still need him? And so I think that plus just the restocks at the stores, the One Piece specific stores have had an impact on this. But down from where it was trending towards almost 90 doll hairs. We're back here at like 65. If you're wanting to play it, it's a bit more affordable to get in there. Plus, an OP07 is going to be a 10-drop ace that does heal a life. We'll have to wait and see what happens, but definitely a card worth keeping your eyes on. If you pick one up, maybe even at like 55, might just be worth having. I still have two, and I'm looking to see if, maybe I just complete that playset soon. So we're also going to go ahead and talk about Uda and what Uda has done to the market in this video. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about some of the cards that are cheap that you'll probably need, and then we're going to talk about OP07, potential cards there, and what to just kind of like extra booster cards that you might want to pick up before those. So let's go ahead and dive in. First up, we have Doflamingo. This is like OP06. We've got Perona, which you'll play this in. You, of course, have had the debate if we play this in Uda or not. On my list, I've played one. One of the other lists that I've seen do well, played 0. I know it just topped this past weekend. We'll have to wait to see that list, but still here about $6. You will want to play 4 of these in Perona, and I'm sure she's going to be popular. We see it time and time again with Nami, and we'll talk about Nami in a moment, but Nami went up super expensive as soon as Uda came out, even though like the signs were there. And so yeah, Nami is sitting at $40. Okay, this card was literally $20 like the week before the deck came out. At the end of January, this card was $20. Deck comes out, now it's $40. So again, when I say pick these up, if you're looking to play it, if you have the financial capability to do so, I highly recommend it. Again, it's just a card game at the end of the day. You can always play Zoro, it's pretty cheap, but definitely be conscious of that. So again, I would just lean on the side of caution as far as picking up Doflamingo just because of the Nami case. And this, of course, now I think a big catalyst behind it too is Uda won the Japan event, their nationals, in extra booster 01 format. You do get another searchable 2K, which is actually huge. Actually huge. After having played it this weekend, I was like, man, I wish I could dig for more 2Ks. Definitely helps out in that. So yeah, just something to keep your eyes on. I think this might fall when we go into OP06, but I think it's gonna be more of a problem. Also, there's a reprint coming in the premium collection, so if you're not planning on playing this, I just wouldn't buy it. If you're not gonna play Uda, and I mean there's like a month left, if you're not like dead set on it, I would not buy this. I would sell this because there's a reprint coming, and it's not like a reprint in a set, but the premium sets that we all bought come out in April, and in April it should bring this price down or be cheaper. So this will either be the inexpensive version or the other one will bring it down, because you can pre-order those from like Italy and like Europe for about $70 and you get like 12 cards. So these should go down just based off of that, because it's not gonna be $40 because there's some other highly sought after cards. So just don't buy Nami. unless you really want to play Uda, I think this card goes down. If you have them, I would sell them. Now, another crazy thing is you have to play Izo. It's like the best green 2K. And this version right here, never would I have ever thought. I thought this card was like $1 for a hot minute. And now it's like $5. It was actually like $7. Yeah, there's still a bunch at like $7. So this I did not expect. Same thing with the regular Izo. It's actually like $5. So if you have some bulk from OP01, Izo is the new Otama. These are actually expensive. I should actually go through my stuff and see, but just something to keep your eyes on. If you don't have a playset of these, it might be worth it because the reprint was in the promo pack and those are no longer in circulation. So who knows when we'll actually see this meaningfully again, and it is like the best green 2K. Then, of course, we have Eustace Captain Kidd. I've mentioned this card a billion times on my channel at this point in these market watches, and here he is sitting at $40, $38. Absolutely insane. I posted a couple on my X account. If you're not following there, check it out when it was on its way up, and you can see a ton of sales at this too, because this is like, and it's like the better one because we're playing like 4 of these in Uda. So it's one of the best green cards ever made. It wins the green mirrors. If green is ever in the meta to beat green, you need to play this card. So I don't love it at this price. I think it comes down once we like leave the Uda. It does have Fortress Yamato, so I could be wrong, but I just don't think Fortress Yamato is as popular. That's what I'm hoping for. I already have my playset, but if you don't have one, might try to just look out for those deals if you do want to play Fortress Yamato. Then, of course, the parallel 116, 117 sales around that. Not a ton, but of course, I mentioned this too when it was around, like, actually, like, here, and I was like, this is very cheap, especially considering all the OP01 alts became very expensive. So if you have these, I think now is pretty much the best time to get rid of them, because it was once a $30 card, now it's a $100 card. And then we'll talk again just kind of on these promos. So these promos were really hyped. The Treasure Cup that I just participated in, they did not allow them just because of the scarcity, because they didn't print enough, and then that they're going to give these to the stores next month. I don't know if they're legal this upcoming one either, but these are some of the better cards. But like you can see it went up, and then as soon as like, oh well, they're not legal, it's going back down. I would not pick these up. I know there's been a couple sales here and there, but there's going to be a lot more on the market. This card's maybe like 15, 20 bucks, maybe even less, but we'll see. I know how these promos are these days. And then of course you've got this. This is very playable. There were times where I wish I could just drop this, to be honest, but I couldn't because I can't play it. I don't know if it's $24, especially considering the winner is $100. It's not far off. So we'll see how this turns out. I think this card becomes fairly cheap once they're in full-fledged. But then, kind of just talking on cards that have gone down, we've got Borsalino. I bought one at about $38 because I felt like this card was going to be 60 bucks. Well, so it hit like its peak, and Purple Luffy is now like the flavor of the month. But Borsalino is going to continually be a black staple for as long as black exists. Now, of course, the biggest fear is black has been dominating, and black is going to be on the ban list. And then, of course, the rumors of restock. So, should you pick up Borsalino? Maybe. Maybe. Do you have the money? Were you holding off? Because you essentially, it was $50. If you buy them now, you essentially save like $48 in the playset. So a lot cheaper on the Borsalino. One of those cards that are going down. Another one is Kuzan. Not much, but he has just continually gone down. But he will continually be useful. If they, for some reason, hit something like Ice Age, you might see more Kuzan. We don't know what will happen, but one of the good cards to have that I think will continually be is because Kuzan does just replace himself. Kuzan was the reason I lost to Sokka. It's a really strong card when you play him. So just something to keep your eyes on. Being relatively cheap for an OP02 super rare at this point, it might be worth just picking up like 1 or 2. Usually you don't play for, might just be worth holding. And then, of course, the structure decks have also gone down. They had these at Nats. They just had them at one of the One Piece store locations. Slowly making its way back down. I think you can buy a sealed deck for $40 now. You've got Lin sitting at 11, was peaking near 20. The Trash Mom, I think if any card should get banned without banning Tin Mom, it's probably this, because when you combine the two, it's just really a headache. And then, of course, yeah, you see a structure deck, 38. So definitely a little bit nicer. It was creeping up towards 50. And then you've got Brûlé, the only other real card of value at the moment. And the deck's sitting at about 8. If you're waiting for Brûlés, this is a great time to pick those up. Just slowly been trending down and slowly now starting to make its way back up. So if you were looking for those, I would definitely consider picking those up soon. Then, of course, we have some of the OP05. So OP05 has been like continually restocked, both in like retail locations and in like waves at the LGSs. So we've got Bello Betty back down. She was at $70, now at 45. I think some of that was Dragon hype, but it looks like we didn't get anything crazy in terms of Revolutionary Army. So unsure if that also factored in. But if you're looking to get the OP05 leaders, if I was going to have any OPO in any set, alt leaders, it'd be OP05. It's the only set that I have almost all the leaders besides We Know Who. So yeah, I think it's a great time. I think I paid 48 for mine, so a little bit lower. And then, of course, Sabo. So I actually, just like a week ago, picked up a Sabo for like 50. Yeah, and so now he's back down at 40, which is about where he was before like the hype began. So I think it's a great price, especially for Sabo, because I think he has, I still think this deck has potential. Of course, the new Sabo is just better because the life and recursion, all that fun stuff. But nevertheless, if you're looking for alts, I think it's a great time to pick up Sabo. And again, if you're looking to buy any of these, use the link in the YouTube video description right there. It's right there. Click it, shop TCG. It'll help me support the channel with purchases you'll already be making. Then, of course, if we talk about OP07 potential, I think Doflamingo is part of that conversation. Now, of course, all of these cards have become very expensive, but Doflamingo is one of the cards that I highly regret not picking up when I had the opportunity to trade for him, but we live and we learn. So he's sitting at about 250. Not a lot of sales, not a lot, but as you can see in recent times, there's been some picking up just because I believe speculation that he will be good. And OP07, if you're unfamiliar, there's a ton of new Warlord cards printed, so check those out. But I think those are really going to carry and give him potential, because there's a Jinbei that can play cards from your hand, so you can play Jinbei, then play another card. It's a card that returns to your hand, so you get a free 2k and makes your opponent lose a card. A lot of good stuff going on there. And then, of course, Rosinante back on the OP05. That was slightly out of order, but $38, pretty cheap. Again, it hit like 60 peak OP05 hype, so great opportunity to pick them up. I picked mine up at about 32, so I think it's solid, especially if you found somebody who was going to sell for like 30. Solid steal. I'd pick it up all day, because there's potential, but of course it is also, it's just nice to have that full set. And then back to the Doflamingo conversation. With that, I think that these are one of the cards that you can pick up. Not a lot available. Decent, an okay amount. I'm not going to say not a lot, but there's an okay amount. But it is the championship one. You only could get these from the packs given out at Nationals. It's got the Championship 2023 logo on it. Full art. Looks really good. I bought one. I'm debating on if I want to pick up a second one, but if you're into max rarity, I think now would be the best time to pick up a playset. They were moving for like 60s, 70s that day, and now they're like all the way down here, so yeah. And then, of course, on that, you have the regular one. This is the cheapest version of this card. The cheapest version of this card. We saw Izo. Izo is $8. If this card becomes massively played, it very well could do the same thing and become an $8 card. So keep your eyes on this if you're looking for something affordable to get into. Maybe this is your play. I don't recommend that. Again, I just recommend all these for you to pick up cards for you. Make sure you have a play set of this if you ever want to play blue, specifically Doflamingo. It's a solid 2K just for blue overall, but even more so for Doflamingo. When this came out, I finally picked up a play set because the regular versions at one point of this, just the regular ones from the structure deck, were like $10. Same thing here, winter stamp, $16. I remember when the super pre-releases were $20. This feels like a steal. I almost want these just because they're cheaper than the championship, but if anything's going to go up the most, I think it's going to be the championship one. But if you're looking for a nice foil alternative, I think that this is 100% a buy. And again, if you're looking to buy them, link in the YouTube video description. And then, of course, so this I did not see coming at all. Again, OP07, this is Extra Booster 01. They introduced Bon Clay, the hero of One Piece, as a character. Really good, 4 cost, works amazing in this law. But on top of that, you have Gordon, and then the new Gordon, which is a Revolutionary Army guy, I think. Maybe he's a film, but I think he's a Revolutionary Army guy. It does exactly what Gordon does, and it just kind of gets a little bit more of a buff with the new Extra Booster 01, but Red Purple Law has been doing things there, and it is playing this card again. And so you see here, $7. Boom, now it's at 20. I don't love it. We've seen this card move a lot, but again, I'm glad I held on to my playset. If you're looking to play Red Purple Law, I don't know if it goes down. There will be a reprint in Asia. It's been confirmed, but if we're looking at that here, it could be months. It could be months before we see that, which would be like a long time, unless they put it in the winter packs for the next circuit. And the question is, do they do that for Extra Booster 1? Do they do it for OP07? Because then the time is coming past. But this card's something to keep your eyes on. Maybe it's worth trying to find the Uda promo packs again. Sometimes those are undervalued, underappreciated. But yeah, so we've got Zoro. I'm actually about to buy 2. I'm about to buy 2. Because this card is so good. You need it for Red Purple Law. It is like the best card in Red Purple Law. And just think, Red Purple Law is going to pick up in a couple months, okay? Red Purple Law is going to pick up in a couple months. And what happens then? It's been a couple months since those structure decks have been out, so they're going to slowly increase in price as everything moves away. So the reprint Zoros were like 80 cents. They're no longer 80 cents. This card and the reprint Zoro aren't that far apart, but this is Romance Dawn. And so because it's Romance Dawn, I like it. I think it's good. I think it's the better art. I think if you like fancy art, the new one is better. But I'm a big fan of this. But the regular one, the reprint, it does look good. I'm not saying it isn't, but I just really like the classic anime style Zoro. But this card is $2. $2. It was change. It is no longer change. People are going to need this card as they continually enter the game. A ton of people have come into the game. I think that this is a great card to pick up because you're going to need it in like 3 months if you want to play Red Purple Law. So everybody who has it, but anybody who comes in and wants to play Red Purple Law, they're going to have to buy these again. And so these are slowly going to, like, all the cheap ones are just slowly going to get brought up. Remember, Zoro was a $20 card for the longest. So I think either one of these, but right now, as it stands, if they're close to the price, I'd 1000% buy this over the other one. And finally, we've got Eustace. So again, just on this Red Purple Law train, because I know what it does to people. We've got this Eustace. He was expensive, now at the lowest because of all those restocks. It might be worth just picking up the playset because this is one of the best cards in Red Purple Law because when you minus, you only minus 2 instead of minusing 3 essentially, and you gain 1 active that you can utilize. So definitely keep your eyes on this. And as always, if you found this content of value, if you could do me a favor, hit the subscribe button. It helps me out a ton. And if you're shopping TCGPlayer, use that link in the video description. Thank you.